Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to the eastern wing of the Stink Bug Works. Yesterday I didn't accomplish a whole lot, although I did put a lot of time into one particular item. One of the things you need on a boat like this is a turn fin, or a center fin here, because this, being flat bottom, will just skip like a rock if it doesn't have something keeping it going straight. And I'm looking around and I got that nice brass rudder, and there's brass here and there and hints of brass, and there's brass here and there, and there's brass and there's brass. I thought, well, you know what? Why not a brass center fin? And I got to looking at the brass I had, and it was either too thick or too thin. So I took a piece that was too thick and I started making it thinner. And I'm most of the way there. I'm going to wind up shortening this a bit, but this is what I've been doing. So I'm leaving this edge fairly thick. I got it sharpened here in the front, but it's too hard to do otherwise. So it'll fit snug in that groove I've created. So eventually I'm going to cut it off. I'll look at it and find a good length to cut it off. I may even curve it like a shark fin. But I wanted to see how it would look if I polished it up. And it looks pretty cool. Now, here's the difference between submerged fins and surface running fins. A square edge on the back of a submerged fin doesn't do any good. On the surface, that square edge allows air, which is a whole lot lighter and easier to move around than water. It allows air in there, and so the rudder just kind of cuts the water apart, and then later on it'll come back together. Subsurface, the water has to come back together, and you don't want it slamming back together. That doesn't do you any good. So you want it to come back together smooth. So that's why these underwater rudders have a sharp leading edge and a sharp trailing edge. And that's why this has a sharp leading edge and a sharp trailing edge. Oh, that's the leading edge. It has an almost sharp leading edge and a sharp trailing edge. So I may even kind of give it that shark fin look, but I spent a lot of time filing and sanding to get that much material off. This one's constructed a little different. This one is just real thin brass filled with solder. I don't know where they get brass that thin or how they mold it or how they do that, but it comes out looking nice. Mine, on the other hand, takes a lot of handwork to file that big chunk down to that little chunk. So I may work on that some more today. Partly, I'm waiting for parts. What's holding me up is the wires. I've got to have the wires to do the speed controls. I have to be able to do the speed controls to finish up in here. And then, this is not what I'm going to use, but what I'm going to use will look similar to that. I found in my box of parts some really nice AAA balsa. This stuff is light as a feather. Dents real easy, but, you know, cover it with fiberglass and such. So my plan is the deck will come up to here, and then it'll roll over. It'll kind of roll, and then I'll put an instrument panel in this rolled off deck. So it'll be cool. You know, our captain will have an instrument panel. And the rear deck, I'm thinking it could come as far as that. So his opening, you know, might be just right, might be snug, just right. I can adjust it with this. So there you are, boys and girls. Just a quick update. Haven't done much of anything. Is looking at propellers for another reason. Another reason that I'll show you sometime soon. Until then, jet out.